Shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel and all the other nations who worship the Most High Ahayah Ashar. Ahayah I am that I am, according to Exodus chapter 3 verses 13 and 14, and his chosen king, Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud, Ngola Mbandi, according to Deuteronomy chapter 17 verse 15 and Deuteronomy 28 verse 36 and Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 9 in spirit and in truth. Welcome back to Second March to Exodus Movement Royal International Channel 33 News. I'm your host Isaac Yasharal, and this is your Hebrew Israelite Daily News. First story, we revisit when former U.S. President Joe Biden made the first official trip as a sitting U.S. president to the kingdoms of Ndongo and Matamba, home of the Ngolan people, in what some still know today as Angola, and how current U.S. President Donald Trump has also reached out to the last president of Angola to the White House to discuss several matters, mainly the return of the Ngola Mbandi kingship by way of Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud, Ngola Mbandi according to Genesis 15:14, Deuteronomy 17:15, Deuteronomy 28:36, and his kingdom according to Deuteronomy 28:68. President Joe Biden has made a historic visit to Ngola, what used to be called Angola, returning back to pre-colonial times as the powerful kingdoms of Ndongo and Matamba, marking the first ever U.S. presidential trip here. His remarks at Ngola's National Museum of Slavery powerfully bridge centuries of history, tracing the bonds between Ngolan ancestors and their descendants in America. President Biden's keynote was marked by deep historical reflection. He honored the legacies of leaders, including Queen Nzinga, who once ruled Ndongo and Matamba. He stood where many enslaved individuals were forced toward the Atlantic, then recounted how the museum halls echo with the pain and courage of those made to walk a death march in 1619. In a poignant moment, Biden named Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud Ngola Mbandi's forefathers Anthony Tucker, Ngola Mbandi, and Isabella, along with their son William Tucker, Ngola Mbandi born in 1624, credited as the first so-called African-American born in early English colonial Virginia. He recognized them not only as victims of the Middle Passage, but early threads in the fabric of America's complex identity. Let's listen in.
I'm sorry. I want to show you all our seats. We're gathered in a solemn location because to fully consider how far our two countries have come in our friendship, we have to remember how we began. We hear them in the wind and the waves. Young women, young men, born free in the highlands of Angola, only to be captured, bound, and forced on a death march along this very coast to this spot by slave traders in the year 1619. In the building next to us, they were baptized into a foreign faith against their will. Their names changed against their will to Anthony.
And it seems like we're having a little bit of trouble with the audio there. That is President Joe Biden speaking at the National Museum of Slavery in Angola. He is speaking about, of course, the dark chapter in our nation's history, the slavery trade that happened between the U.S. and that country. Let's listen back in. I think the audio is back.
In a place that 150 years later would become the United States of America. They had a son, considered the first child of African descent born in America, William Tucker. It was the beginning of slavery in the United States. Cruel, brutal, dehumanizing. Our nation's original sin, one that haunted America and cast a long shadow ever since.
Biden emphasized that among the audience were three Tucker descendants, Wanda, Vincent, and Carolita, who trace their roots directly back to this painful history. This lineage has further extended to Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud Ngola Mbandi.
Yeah, I'm Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud Ngola Mbandi. I'm here at the Tucker Cemetery, my bloodline, the true bloodline of how my bloodline, Ngola Mbandi, got here. The royal kingship, the Davidic kingship of 1619 that was brought here in August 1619 by slaves, by ships, transatlantic kidnapping of the Davidic kingship of Ndongo in 1619, fulfilling prophecy.
whose ancestry connects directly to the Ndongo Matamba royalty and the Tuckers. The acknowledgement of both Angolan history and so-called African-American history highlights a shared yet fractured story. Biden framed modern U.S.-Angola relations as built on mutual respect and investment, ranging from infrastructure to education, rather than paternalism. We all know that he framed that position in the context of perpetuated colonialism. Yes, as Angola, the United States would love to do business with the colonized people of the real people of the Kongo and Ndongo and Matamba kingdoms in disguise as Angolans. It is only when we get behind our king and our Messiah, Malaka Chashvarosh Adna Amihud Ngolambandi, that we will be truly free with autonomy, completely free from colonization. In a landmark diplomatic moment, President Donald Trump hosted the foreign ministers of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda at the White House on June 27, 2025, following the signing of a U.S.-mediated peace agreement aimed at ending decades of violence in the eastern DRC, a Fortune C. The agreement, signed by Congo's Foreign Minister Therese Kaikwamba Wagner and Rwanda's Olivier Nduhungire, was witnessed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. It includes a phased withdrawal of Rwandan forces from eastern Congo and the establishment of a joint security coordination mechanism, all to be implemented within the next 90 days. President Trump praised it as a glorious triumph for the cause of peace and declared it part of his growing legacy as a global peacemaker, invoking other diplomatic breakthroughs from his administration. The deal also paves the way for a regional economic integration frameworks to attract Western investment into the DRC's vital mineral sector, cobalt, lithium, copper, the region's backbone. A president to the ceremony, Trump presented formal invitations for Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwandan President Paul Kagame to visit Washington in July for a follow-up summit to finalize the so-called Washington Accord that's leased on its agreement. However, analysts and officials caution the agreement's fragility, pointing out that key actors such as the M23 rebel group remain outside its scope and that past accords have failed without sustained enforcement and regional oversight. Angolan President João Lourenço, current chair of the African Union, was extended an invitation reflecting broader continental backing for ongoing peace efforts. Let's listen in.
Wow. I cover even your first administration.
Yes, I know that. That's great. Well, thank you. That's so nice that you said that.
You.
Appreciate it.
And I have one more question,
Yes.
Mr. President. Since we know in July or in the future, both President of Rwanda and the Congo will be coming
Yes.
to the United States. In Africa, President João Lourenço, the president of Angola, he is also the leader of African Union.
Good.
He
Yes, I know.
worked very hard to bring peace, but unfortunately...
Let's get him here.
Yes, that's
Okay?
right.
Would you invite him for me?
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
No, we'll have. I know that he works very hard, and he's the head of essentially the union. So the union all over Africa, not the kind of union that we have. This is the union all over Africa, and I'd love to have him. So you'll let him know.
Of course,
Okay.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
As Trump positions himself as the architect of this peace deal, observers remain wary of whether political will, economic incentives, and security mechanisms will hold long enough to bring concrete relief to millions amid Eastern Congo's turbulent landscape. Now that we at Hebrew Israelite Royal International News Channel 33 News have laid it out about the previous U.S. President Joe Biden and current and last President Donald Trump having very important interest in so-called Angola in Africa, which went by and will go by again as Ngola, not Angola like Portugal would have it when they colonized our land, the Kongo and the Ndongo and Matamba kingdoms over 400 years ago. Well, according to Genesis chapter 15, verse 14, that time is over now, and we only know that because the vessel for Genesis chapter 15, verse 14 is here. Let me be first to share with our viewing audience at home, our king is here. Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud Ngolambandi. Shalom Malak. How you doing?
Shalom, Isaac. How you doing, Ak? All praises to the Most High Ahayah.
Shalom. Messiah, I know, with you being Ahayah's chosen king over all of Yasharal, according to Genesis 15:14, Deuteronomy 17:15, Deuteronomy 28:36, and many other scriptures, that we are to listen to you in order to hear what the Most High Ahayah has to say to us, according to Deuteronomy 18:15 and Deuteronomy 18:18 and many other scriptures in the Bible. So with that Thawada, our Messiah, thank you, our Messiah, our King. Thank you, Messiah. But if you could, though, could you take a minute to tell us about yourself and who you are and who your fathers are? In your best words, please let us know everything we should know about you, about the Ngola Mbandi bloodline, about everything. We're just so excited to have you for tonight's episode. We are all ears and we all want to hear. Please.
Con, no problem, Isaac. I would love to. It's a pleasure to be here. Today I want to talk about the Bible and what it has to do with me, with you, with everybody. Well, again, like I said, I am Malak Achashvarosh, Adna Amihud, Ngola, Mbandi, king of the kingdoms of the Kongo, the kingdoms of Ndongo, and Matamba of the Ngola people. Not what many people still know to be named Angola today. The multiple great-grandson of our former royal Hebrew Israelite Davidic king, Ngola Mbandi, who was kidnapped in the royal city of Kabasa during the transatlantic events of 1619, according to the biblical prophecies of Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36, 1 Samuel chapter 12, verses 12 through 16, Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1 through 3, and verses 10 through 13, Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5, chapter 30, verse 9, and chapter 33, verse 15, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 15, Matthew chapter 24, verses 26 and 27, and the Messiah, kingship blood of Acts, chapter 2, verses 34 and 35, King James Version of the Holy Bible, and the historical events of my royal Hebrew Israelite Davidic king bloodline being brought to the shores of the United States of America by the Portuguese galleon, the world's biggest and most powerful warship at the time. John the Baptist, built in 1613 by Japan, intercepted by the warship Treasure, and the warship the White Lion that carried and transported our former Hebrew Israelite Davidic king, Ngola Kilawanji, Kiasamba, bloodline, to the colony of Virginia, into indentured servant servitude as Anthony Tucker and his wife, Isabel, in August of 1619, fulfilling the start of the prophecy, Genesis 15:13, and the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28:36. And it was there from the west of Virginia to the east of Tennessee, along Route 33, off of Tucker Road, where you find our farm in Sneedville, Tennessee, where my forefathers are buried on the highest hill. And you find the meaning of Matthew chapter 24, verses 26 and 27, about my return, where it says, "Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers. Believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. You see, I am he now that I spoke of then in the book of John chapter 14, verse 12, when I spoke of myself. And I said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. I am King Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud, and also in the book of Acts, chapter 2, verses 34, where it says, For David is not ascended into the heavens, but he saith himself, The Most High saith unto me, Sit thou on my right hand, until I make thy foes thy footstool. I am King Malak Achashvarosh Adna Amihud Ngolambandi. I am the heir to the kingdom Kongo, Ndongo, Matamba, Africa, of the tribe of Yahada, Judah, the southern kingdom of Yasharal, Israel. I have a UCC 1 financing statement perfected interest in Africa in the United States of America. I am the secured party of Africa in the United States of America as collateral in the attached UCC-1 financing statement and the UCC-3 amended financing statement and the security agreement.
I am the heir to the kingdom Kongo, Ndongo, Matamba, Africa, of the tribe of Yahadah, Judah, the southern kingdom of Yashar, Israel. I have a UCC-1 financing statement, perfected interest in Africa and the United States of America. I am the secured party of Africa and the United States of America as collateral in the attached UCC-1 financing statement and the UCC-3 amended financing statement and the security agreement.
Excuse me, Malak, not to cut you off, but you could please explain to the people out there watching about what exactly the UCC financing statement is about. What does that mean? What is the significance in being the secured party of it?
Khan, that's a good question, Isaac. Yes, I can break that down for anybody that has an ear to hear. You see, basically what a UCC financing statement is this. A UCC financing statement is a form that a secured party files to publicly declare their interest in the collateral. It provides notice to other potential creditors that the secured party has a claim over the specified assets. The secured party, that would be me, is the individual that has a security interest in the collateral being financed. You see, what the Most High Ahayah had me to do back in 2012 and 2016 as his chosen Malak, his chosen king of Genesis, 15:14, by way of Deuteronomy 17:15 and 28:36 with the UCC financing statement, has allowed me to be that individual with that secured interest in all of Africa, with the United States as collateral. This is the great substance that the Bible is talking about. In Genesis 15:14, in layman's terms, what it means is this: I hold a legal and lawful claim over the collateral, which is all of the United States of America and all the other nations and all the other nations of the world that has indentured slavery commerce dealings with my Davidic kingship of Kongo, Ndongo, Matamba, Africa, a debtor's collateral against all the nations of the world that has indentured slavery commerce dealings with my Davidic kingship of Kongo, Ndongo, Matamba, Africa. As the secured party, I have the right to take possession of the collateral if the debtor defaults on their obligations, which this nation did according to Genesis 15:14.
They had a son, considered the first child of African descent born in America, William Tucker. It was the beginning of slavery in the United States. Cruel, brutal, dehumanizing. Our nation's original sin.
This means I can sell or otherwise dispose of the collateral to recover the owed amount. As a secure party, my claim is top priority over unsecured creditors in the event of the debtor's bankruptcy or liquidation, depending on the filing date and perfection of the security interest. So basically, with me being the secured party means I have a legal and lawful right to a debtor's collateral to secure a loan or obligation, as documented through the UCC financing statement I filed in South Carolina back in 2012. Now, if I may speak directly to those of Deuteronomy 28:68, listen to me carefully. Amongst many other things in the Bible, when it talks about my coming, notice I am Genesis 15:14. I am Deuteronomy 17:15 and 28:36. And I am here. I love you, my people, and it's necessary that you love me. After all, we are brothers and sisters And if we are a body, we must be in agreement to walk together. Like the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3 reminds us. And every body needs a head. And as the Most High's chosen vessel to be the king over Yesharal, for Deuteronomy 17:15 and 28:36, I am your head. It is what it is.
Thank you, Malak. Thank you, Thawada, for being true to the Bible all the way to the letter. If it wasn't for you and your quick understanding according to Isaiah chapter 11 verses 1 through 3, we wouldn't be able to see and discern verses 10 through 12. We wouldn't be able to get our great substance according to Genesis chapter 15 verse 14. We wouldn't get our new surnames and new first names according to Isaiah chapter 44 verse 5 and Revelation chapter 2 verse 17. It's just so many prophecies again. I can't say it enough. Malak, thank you all. Praises to Ahayah, Ahayah. I am that I am, of Exodus chapter 3, verses 13 and 14, and his son you, Malak Ahashverosh, Adna, Ammihud, Ngola Mbandi, according to Deuteronomy 17:15 and 28:36, and the Holy Spirit.
You welcome all praises to Ahayah. Hey, Ak, what's up with the suit?
What do you mean, Malak?
I tell you what, the kingship is back. So why are you wearing that? It looked like it's made of mixed fabrics. The tie looked like a noose. Isaiah, you know what the book of Enoch, chapter 22, talks about. You don't want to go to the hollow place presenting your suit before Ahayah, looking like that in Satan's suit with a noose around your neck. Repent, Isaac. Go get you some garments for you and your family with some fringes on them after you leave the studio. And if you make it home, be sure to give Ahayah, Ahayah, I am that I am, according to Exodus 3, verses 13 and 14. Praises. I'm be back, and when I return, I'm check on you. You hear me? Now, if I see you dressed like this again, you're going to have a fine, different work outside the gates. Okay? You hear me?
Okay. Khan Malak, I repent. Forgive me, I won't wear a suit again. In a story that's captured global attention, a Nigerian couple in West Africa has welcomed a baby girl exhibiting traits more commonly associated with people of Edomite lineage: blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. Let's listen in.
What do you think, Angela, first time you see Machi?
Well, first time I saw the baby, I'm happy to have a baby. At the same time, I was surprised to see the blonde hair. Even when I was in my room where they kept me, some people that saw me there and saw the baby say, it was a strange and a surprise that, did I marry a white? Is my husband a white man? I said, no. How come? I said, I don't know. This is just the way I saw the baby. So.
And you, Ben, when you first saw Machi, what did you think?
Well, it was almost the same, like she was being surprised.
While remarkably beautiful, medical professionals emphasize that the infant's appearance isn't due to albinism, a genetic condition. Instead, doctors attribute her unique look to natural genetics. Both parents reportedly carry such genes, and when combined, they produced this unexpected result. Experts and scholars both urge that stories like this are opportunities to edify, educate, and correct people about the Bible. In the right hands, the Bible and science can go hand in hand. It was Esau that was born red and hairy all over to a melanated father and mother, Isaac and Rebekah. And just like when Esau got his birthright inheritance, it is now Jacob's turn to inherit and rule the earth and the dew of heavens, with his older brother serving the younger, where it says in the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 14, and this gospel in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And in the book of 2 Esdras chapter 6 verse 9, where it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
The book of Genesis chapter 15 verses 13 and 14. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. The book of 2 Esdras, chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world.
And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followed.
Chaz and the neighborhood, Chaz Lodge and the neighborhood in London. And I'm located in Hampton, Virginia at this moment, near the shorelines of where they brought the slaves in, my bloodline, in 1619. We're talking about Ngola and Bandi, the kingship, the Vedic kingship of Ndongo and Matamba. That's right. I'm in my bloodline. I'm connecting my roots, my national origin and origin of ethnicity, Hebrew Israelite, here, connecting all the prophecies that needs to be connected in order to go forward, to return to our land, to receive our great substance according to Genesis chapter 15, verse 14, as stated in the scriptures. I am the reigning king of Ndongo and Matamba, according to my 20th generational grandparent, Ngola, Kalunji, and Bandi. Simba, my grandfather. This is all spiritual. This is all biblical.
Wow. Amazing. Well, that concludes today's Hebrew Israelite Daily News on the Second March to Exodus Movement Channel 33. May the Most High Ahayah Ahayah, I am that I am, continue to guide the 12 tribes of Israel and all nations who serve him in spirit and in truth. Until next time, stay watchful, stay set apart, and stay faithful under the righteous reign of our King, Malak Achashvarash Adna Amihud Ngolambandi. I'm your host, Isaac Yashar Al. Shalom, and may peace be multiplied unto you. Shalom.